We need to build a wall, and it has to be built quickly.
Good morning. It is 9:06 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, how are you? My name's Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by our friends at Better Water LLC. Water filtration systems, water softeners. You get those at betterwater.com. Man, I'm very excited to be with you here today. We are awaiting this press conference with Donald Trump to kick off. We're going to cover it for you live. Well, Mystery Science Theater 3000, that thing. It sound good? You want a Mystery Science Theater that? Did people get that reference still?
I don't know if people still get that reference.
Google it. It's a good reference.
Worth it.
It's a good reference. Had a great weekend. I flew out of town on Friday night to get to Charlottesville, Virginia, to pick up my family that week in D.C. They had a blast in D.C., man. Which, I don't know, I mentioned last week, I was biting my nails as the biggest story one of the biggest stories in the country becomes all the crime in D.C. I'm thinking to myself, oh, great, perfect. Just let my wife and my kids and my in-laws go there, by themselves. Awesome. Huge win. Luckily, they got back safe. They had a great time. Toured the state capitol. Shout out to Tim Burchett for that. And they went to the Spy Museum. They went to the Air and Space Museum. They did all the things. But I'll tell you what the highlight of their trip was. It was me flying into Charlottesville. I got in there at about 12:30 in Richmond, Virginia. But what happened was on Saturday, my two boys shot guns for the first time, which was the most fun. It was an exclamation point on the entire weekend, and it was just so cool.
Dude, it
cool.
looked like an absolute blast.
Yeah, I put the video up on Instagram.
Yeah, it was cool.
At Chris Hand on Air if you want to see it. It was just, it was a little 22. And my brother-in-law is just like the ultimate outdoorsman. He taught all of his kids how to shoot. So it was a great setup. But they shot a Savage Mark II. And the boys, golly, that's all they could talk about. After a week in D.C., where they toured the state capitol, they went to the Spy Museum, they did Air and Space, they met an Abraham Lincoln impersonator, which they said they thought they met the real Abraham Lincoln. They said he was a dead ringer. But the highlight was shooting guns with Dad for the first time, and it was so awesome. You got to do it. Every kid's different. Find the right age for them. But they're already like, hey, Dad, can we go to the Glock store now and start learning how to clear rooms in the dark? I'm like, let's just take
Hold on.
We'll get there. We'll get there for sure. So we let them shoot that Savage Mark II. It's a little 22, and it's set up. It was totally safe. But then I said, my father-in-law has a .357 Magnum. They're like, can we shoot that? And I said to my oldest son, if you want to look like you're a softball pitcher, the way it's going to recoil on you, yeah, we could do that.
Yeah, I don't think they realize how to brace your shoulder for that.
No, I was joking. It's like, a good 9mm will take out the drug addict that broke into your home. The .357 Magnum will take out the drug addict hiding behind the fridge that broke into your home. That's the difference, guys. It's a little different. But we got a lot to get to today. Again, we're waiting for this press conference for Donald Trump to kick off. He's going to be talking about crime in D.C. The residents in D.C. have been talking about this a lot as well. Trump is vowing to make it safer. Now, Washington, D.C. Advisory Neighborhood Commissioner was talking about the safety in D.C. They did a large report on this in D.C. on local news, and even their neighborhood advisory is saying, guys, it is an absolute mess out here. These neighborhoods are completely out of control. This is what it sounded like.
To do that, then I think there's no problem with that, because there are pockets in D.C. that are significantly out of control. We have school zones that are drug-infested neighborhoods.
Mixed reaction from the community, but they all agree on one thing. Something must be done to decrease crime.
You know, it's funny, the reporter says mixed reaction from the community, yet every clip I saw from this news report was the community saying, no, we really do need help. The crime is out of control. You heard the D.C. Neighborhood Advisory Commissioner, Andrea Davis, just say there's drug-infested neighborhoods. They talked to locals as well, talking about the juveniles, talking about the curfew that's being installed in and around D.C., the youths, if you will. And Washington, D.C. residents are tired of the violence.
Some shots, some bangs. We've seen police officers running in all directions.
I almost feel a little desensitized to it in a way, because it seems to be of the norm.
It's actually pretty scary that these teenagers own guns and that they are in the neighborhood shooting guns.
Yeah, it's terrifying. Also, it's a weird framing. They own guns. It's a little alarming. These teens own guns. Like, well, you know, they have guns. They didn't purchase them legally. You know, it's a little different. Bernard Brown was also featured in this news report. His 3-year-old granddaughter was shot and killed in Washington, D.C. Again, they say mixed reactions from the community, but every clip I see is the community saying, no, Trump does need to do something, and he's considering deploying the National Guard.
But likes the idea of having more federal agents on the street.
The mayor seems not to have enough control of the activities that are arising.
No, nobody has control. That's the case that Donald Trump is making, and that's the case he's going to make. Again, he's going to be joining the program. He's not joining the program, but we'll cover his press conference live. I wish he would join the program. Hit like and subscribe on YouTube. Maybe we get those numbers up. DJT will join in, help us with the digital clout.
Big hype.
Do it. But we're waiting for this to come in. And Donald Trump is, the press briefing room is packed right now. Slam packed. Do you see it on the stream? They're waiting for the president to roll in, and that press briefing room does look small, doesn't it? We talked to Monica Page last week about the improvements that they're making on the White House, the ballroom, the flagpoles. Are they going to put a dome on top? She said what they really need to do is upgrade that press briefing room, especially with Donald Trump back in office. I mean, it's full now. Everybody used to take naps when Joe Biden was there, but now, I mean, there's stuff to do. There's stuff to talk about constantly, like the peace deals that Donald Trump continues to push. We're going to probably get some questions about his meeting with Vladimir Putin that is coming to Alaska on Friday. We're going to talk about that a little bit. We had a peace deal with Armenia and Azerbaijan on Friday. That's 7 peace deals in 7 months if you're keeping score at home. It's unbelievable. And when he had those leaders in the White House, Trump was, front and center celebrating that peace deal as it was signed. And look at that, the handshake, and Donald Trump just holding it together.
The President of the Republic of Azerbaijan and the Prime Minister of the Republic of Armenia will now sign the joint declaration on the outcomes of the Trump Route for International Peace and Prosperity Summit.
That's really
They will
beautiful.
sign 3 copies in English. The President of the United States signs as a witness to the President of the Republic of Azerbaijan and the Prime Minister of the Republic of Armenia, affirming their path to peace, stability, and prosperity.
Peace, prosperity, and stability. I made the point last week, again, talking to Monica Page. That interview is available on our YouTube page, as all of our weekly wrap-up segments with Monica is. She's our White House reporter. She's awesome. But I made the point to her, has any president ever leveraged trade and the economy of the United States in such a way to get peace deals with so many nations? And she said, absolutely not. Donald Trump is the only one that's done it like this. He's the only guy that could do it like this. And yet, there are neocons out there that are still so salty. I mean, all these flavors, and John Bolton gets on ABC over the weekend and chooses salty. John Bolton was asked, Does Donald Trump deserve some credit for all of these peace deals? And I'm going to play you this clip from John Bolton, but let me give you the Cliff Notes version first. John Bolton, does Donald Trump deserve any credit? And he says, no, he doesn't. Oh, thanks, John. Thanks. Listen to this.
You've been highly critical, obviously, of Trump's foreign policy generally, and specifically on this case. Does he deserve some credit, though? He's had a string of what seemed to be legitimate foreign policy successes. You had the Azerbaijan-Armenia deal that was announced at the White House. He helped broker the agreement between Congo and Rwanda to stop the fighting there. He also helped to broker the agreement between Cambodia and Thailand. I mean, they're talking Nobel Peace Prize. I don't expect you to endorse the Nobel Peace Prize for Trump, but doesn't he deserve some credit for all of this?
Well, I don't think what he has done materially changes the situations in any of those circumstances.
Oh, no, says John Bolton. No, Donald Trump leveraging the United States economy, leveraging trade. No, that shouldn't get him any credit when it comes to peace in any of these conflicts. Got it. I mean, John loves bombing places, and maybe he thinks that's the best way towards peace. If you were to ask him, I'm sure he would tell you that. But no, the president doesn't deserve any credit.
Or several others he's mentioned, like Pakistan, India, where the Indians, not just the government, the entire country, are outraged that he tried to take credit for that. In Thailand, Cambodia, he simply threatened tariffs. If they didn't sign a deal, they've signed a deal. Nothing has changed. And the real kicker in Azerbaijan, Armenia, was the Russians allowing Azerbaijan to take control of Nagorno-Karabakh in the past year. So I think what Trump has done is make it clear that he wants a Nobel Peace Prize more than anything else.
Oh, yeah, that's what it is. Yep. John nailed it. And anybody wonders why John Bolton isn't relevant anymore? He's just an angry old man yelling at the clouds about Donald Trump. Donald Trump deserves no credit for any of this. Sure. Donald Trump, all he did was threaten them with tariffs. Yes, exactly. He leveraged the United States economy. He leveraged trade. And he said, if you want to trade with us, we need peace. It's a solid strategy. It's a strategy that is working. John Bolton doesn't want to give that credit. Again, we're waiting for this press conference to kick off Liberation Day in D.C. Donald Trump dubbed it on Truth Social earlier today. We're going to hear about what he's going to do to reduce the crime in D.C., and the room is packed. I'm expecting just a bunch of questions on a bunch of different topics. I wonder if anybody's going to bring up those John Bolton comments. I hope they do. I really do. I'd like to hear what the president has to say about those comments. But it's just a joke. It's an absolute joke. John Bolton, the president deserves no credit. J.D. Vance was talking about the president's peacemaking strategies over the weekend. And Vance says, it's an amazing thing to have a president like this who's working on behalf of the American people and working on behalf of peace.
If you look at the president's foreign policy accomplishments, if you look at Congo, Rwanda, a war that went on for 30 years, killed 6 million people. If you look at the number of hostages in Israel, in Gaza, who have been released and gone back to their families. If you look at Malaysia, Cambodia, you look at all of these terrible conflicts, the president has shown a willingness to be the president of peace. It's a big testament to the quality of American leadership. And it's an amazing thing to have a president who's working to stop the killing when you've had for so many generations presidents who didn't care about bringing peace to these very conflict-torn regions of the world. It's something I think all Americans should be proud of, whatever their political party.
Amen. Unless you're John Bolton, then you're just salty. Hey, real quick, Larry in Clarksville's on the line. Larry, how you doing, man? How you feeling?
Hey, I'm still above the daisies, dude.
Let's go, brother. That's where we need you.
Well, I would like to gift your boys one of my treasured 12 gauges.
Oh, man, you're way too kind. I don't know if they're ready for the 12 gauge just yet. But shooting the Savage Mark II over the weekend. I mean, my boys are 6 and 7. And it's a little 22. There's nothing crazy on that, but they had the best time. And it's important.
Well,
it's important.
Then I will gift them a 22 rifle.
Larry, you are far too kind, man. But I can't accept that from you, bro.
Yes, you can.
Larry, all I want from you, man, is to get you out of that hospital and have you up and running and at our next event as soon as we announce it. All right. That's the only thing I'm going to ask you for.
I'm already home. I'm out of the hospital.
Okay, good.
And it was so funny, you know, when Dan pulled up the audio of me throwing him under the bus under Murphy's show.
So good.
Look, no, listen. I will gladly gift your boys a 22 or a 12 gauge, and they can shoot it in my damn backyard.
All right, man. I love the idea. Let's we'll talk a little bit more about that offline. All right.
Yes, sir.
All right,
you
brother.
got my number.
Hey, man, I do, and I'm glad to hear from you, Larry. I'm glad you're back home, man. We love you, bro.
Love you too, man.
All right, man.
Bye.
Take care. All right, 921 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Again, we're waiting for this press conference to kick off. We're going to cover it live, and you can watch it on the Super Talk TV. Have you heard of Super Talk TV? Mason, have you heard of Super Talk TV?
I think so. Where can you find it?
Facebook, Twitter, Twitch. Those are the ones nobody really watches it on. YouTube and Rumble are the main ones.
Let's go.
I said to the guys, I said, should we just stop saying the other stuff and just go with YouTube and Rumble moving forward? Probably makes the most sense, right?
I would think so. Twitter maybe still has some hanging on there, but
hit like and subscribe. We are going to Mystery Science Theater 3000 this press conference when it kicks off. Me and Mason, we're ready to go. You ready to go?
I'm hype.
We'll cover the whole thing live. You'll be able to watch it on Super Talk TV. You'll be able to listen to it on the iHeartRadio app, the TuneIn app, the FM dial, all the things. A lot more on the way. It's 921. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
A constitutional amendment for Tennessee, well, it could change the way judges grant bail in the state. And DEI is off the schedule at BNA. We've got those stories and more coming up here at 9:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
That's Joan Jones in the newsroom. My name's Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by Better Water LLC. Water filtration systems, water softeners. You get those at betterwater.com. You can find me anywhere. I'm on Twitter, True Social, Instagram, TikTok begrudgingly. Although I'm coming around a little bit.
Yeah?
Just a little bit. I'm getting, I feel like I'm getting love bombed. I feel like TikTok is doing this on purpose because I have a new account.
Blasting you with a lot of views.
Yeah, dude. I put up that one EBT short that I did. It's on the YouTube page as well, where the woman is very, very upset that the Reese cups ain't allowed on the EBT anymore.
They took my Reese's?
They took my Reese cup. That's got like 50,000 views on TikTok.
Oh, wow.
It's bananas. It's bananas.
Interesting.
I feel like they're doing that on purpose. Trying to hook me.
Just sprinkling it in.
They're trying to hook me.
Yeah, maybe we should post more.
Yeah, maybe I should. Hit the follow button wherever you are. And if you want to see that video of my boys shooting their 22 for the first time, that's on my Instagram, at Chris Hand on Air.
I highly recommend it. It's just watching kids have a good time.
Dude, the biggest smiles on their faces. And I remember I looked at my oldest son. And I was like, congratulations, man. There it is. He's like, the whole ride home, they're like, Dad, that was awesome. So then their uncle Raj, he had another gun. I can't remember what one it was, but it was. I mean, it's a big. It was shooting 308s. So,
oh wow.
So my boys were like, "Can we do that one?" I'm like, "No." And then they kind of got like a little bit mad at me, like, "Dad, that's all we want to do." I was like,
"Come
well,
on."
I was like, "Let's go inside. We can listen to this one from inside." And so it was like, boom. And my oldest kind of like slowly turned around and looked at me. He's like, I get it now. Thanks, Dad. We got a lot more on the way. Again, we're waiting for this press conference to kick off. I'm a little bit surprised that Trump isn't there on time. They said 10 o'clock Eastern time. He's about 30 minutes late. This is like we're reaching Obama era levels of tardiness at this point. Do you understand? This shouldn't be happening. So we'll cover this press conference live as soon as it kicks off.
Yeah, I'm here for it. I think we can give him some credit for what's gone on over the weekend and whatnot. I think.
Oh my gosh, He's been unstoppable. So, in case you missed it, Donald Trump is going to be meeting with Vladimir Putin on Friday in Alaska, which is a boss move. Hey, by the way, why don't you come meet us on territory that used to be yours? That's ours now. Baller. A lot of people very excited about this, very enthusiastic. A lot of Democrats very salty, very upset. One senator, Mark Kelly out of Arizona, had some not so nice things to say about Donald Trump bending a knee to Putin. I'll bring you those comments when we get back. Plus, J.D. Vance reacting to the meeting that's coming on Friday. And we'll have this press conference with Donald Trump in D.C. as soon as it kicks off. Hang out with us. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Good morning. It's now 9:30. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. And breaking this morning, a U.S. district judge in the Southern District of New York has denied the Trump administration's motion to unseal grand jury testimony from the criminal case against Ghislaine Maxwell. Of course, she is the associate of Jeffrey Epstein. Now, in that 31-page ruling, the judge said that the grand jury materials do not identify anyone other than Epstein or Maxwell as having had sexual contact with a minor. A proposed amendment for Tennessee's Constitution could change how judges grant bail. Right now, judges are required to grant bail in every case, with the exception of first-degree murder and child rape cases. Senate Majority Leader Jack Johnson.
You could have someone who's been charged a dozen different times with violent crimes. This person is clearly a threat to society, a threat to the community, yet the judge still has to give them bail.
Yeah, call for changes comes after Austin Drummond was captured and charged with the murder of 4 family members last week. Now, at the time of the murders, he had been out on bond after being charged with attempted murder in a separate case. Next year, Tennesseans will vote on an amendment that allows judges to deny bail to defendants charged with other violent crimes. And no more DEI hires at Nashville International Airport. The Tennessean reports a 2-decade-old program that targeted small minority and women-owned businesses for hiring has ended. An airport spokesperson said BNA is complying with President Trump's anti-DEA executive order so that airport could keep getting its federal funding. That is the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
937 Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, how are you? It's Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by Better Water LLC. Water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. We are waiting for Donald Trump to jump into the White House press briefing room. I'm like, the room is just slam packed. It's kind of cool, though. Me and Mason were talking behind the scenes. It's like, oh, look, there's Monica Page right there. Right there. Do you see her on the stream?
Dude, it's so cool.
Oh, man, here comes Bondi, Patel, Judge Janine, Hegseth, Burgum. Dude, they got this whole squad. They're rolling deep. Do you see this? We're
It's
watching.
like they're treating our country seriously.
You got this up on the stream. Okay,
Yeah,
perfect,
for sure.
Perfect. All right, so if you're watching us on Super Talk TV, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, you'll be able to watch this live. But we just saw Kash Patel, Pam Bondi, Judge Janine, Hegseth, Burgum, and whoever that guy is walk in. Who is that? Who's that other guy?
I don't know. Wait, hold on.
I don't know who he is either. He's got to be somebody.
Tall guy number 3.
Tall guy number 3. He's the tallest of the tall guys.
He is the tallest of the tall guys, but he's on the end there, so I labeled him number 3.
Is Pam Bondi taller than Patel? No, she's got to be wearing heels.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
100%. All right. And I think we're getting the president walking in right about now. Yep, here he comes.
He is.
All right, so we're going to cover this press conference live. Donald Trump, White House press briefing room. Let's go.
Here a lot. I've never seen a crowd like this. I think we need a ballroom, and that's happening. It's going to be a beautiful ballroom. This is really a lot of people, most I've ever seen in this room. And we're here for a very serious purpose, very serious purpose. Something's out of control, but we're going to put it in control very quickly like we did on the southern border. I'm announcing a historic action to rescue our nation's capital from crime, bloodshed, bedlam, and squalor.
Let's go.
And worse. This is Liberation Day in D.C., and we're going to take our capital back. We're taking it back. Under the authorities vested in me as the President of the United States, I'm officially invoking Section 740 of the District of Columbia Home Rule Act. You know what that is? And placing the D.C. Metropolitan Police Department under direct federal control, and you'll be meeting the people that will be directly involved with that.
D.C. police federalized.
Very good people, but they're tough, and they know what's happening, and they've done it before. In addition, I'm deploying the National Guard to help reestablish law, order, and public safety in Washington, D.C., and they're going to be allowed to do their job properly. And you people are victims of it, too. You know, you're reporters, and I understand a lot of you tend to be on the liberal side, but you don't want to get mugged and raped and shot and killed. And you all know people and friends of yours that happened. And so you can be anything you want, but you want to have safety in the streets. You want to be able to leave your apartment or your house where you live and feel safe and go into a store to buy a newspaper or buy something.
Yeah, it's true.
And you don't have that now.
Members
the murder
of
rate
Congress
in Washington
getting carjacked.
today is higher than that of Bogota, Colombia, Mexico City, some of the places that you hear about as being the worst places on earth, much higher. This is much higher. The number of car thefts has doubled over the past 5 years, and the number of carjackings has more than tripled. Murders in 2023 reached the highest rate probably ever. They say 25 years, but they don't know what that means because it just goes back 25 years. Can't be worse. Our capital city has been overtaken by violent gangs and bloodthirsty criminals, roving mobs of wild youth, drugged out maniacs and homeless people. And we're not going to let it happen anymore. We're not going to take it.
Good.
Yeah, just like we did on our southern border. Nobody comes through our southern border anymore. 3 months in a row, we had zero. I don't know if that's right, but the people that do the work, it's a very liberal group of people, actually, and they actually said zero for the last 3 months. Nobody thought a thing like that was possible. And, you know, when you take a look at numbers, I just saw some charts. These are different cities throughout the world. Red is, okay, the red is a place called Washington, D.C.
Maybe you've heard
Look
of
at
it.
these. Baghdad we doubled up on Baghdad. Panama City, Brasilia, San Jose, Costa Rica, Bogota, Colombia, heavy drugs. Mexico City, I mentioned, Lima, Peru, all double and triple what they are. So do you want to live in places like that?
Nope.
I don't think so. I don't think so. And I think the people in this room, if you wrote correctly, you'd see, look at the kind of numbers we have. D.C., 41 per 100,000, number one that we can find anywhere in the world. Other cities are pretty bad, but they're not as bad as that. Is that where you want to live? The reporters of the world?
I asked Monica Page on Friday if she'd want to raise a family in D.C., and she said absolutely not.
It's getting worse. Not getting better, it's getting worse. And we had a recent indication. There was a story about a man who was just left. He quit because he was asked to do phony numbers on crime. And we're going to look into that. I think Pam is going to be looking into that. But he was asked by the city, I guess, that we don't want to show the real numbers. Let me do numbers so it looks like it's going down. Not going down. And under Biden, it was a disaster. And nobody did anything about it. We're going to do things about it like you wouldn't believe. Every American has a constitutional right to be able to access and petition their government in safety, and countless federal officials and employees likewise have the right to carry out their jobs in peace without being shot. As you know, I lost a very good person a while ago, was shot waiting for his wife. He was in the car. They robbed his car. They shot him. They killed him like it was nothing to it. She was walking to the car. It's a horror show. This issue directly impacts the functioning of the federal government and is a threat to America, really. It's a threat to our country. We have other cities also that are bad, very bad. You look at Chicago, how bad it is. You look at Los Angeles, how bad it is. We have other cities that are very bad. New York has a problem. And then you have, of course, Baltimore and Oakland. We don't even mention that anymore. They're so far gone. We're not going to let it happen. We're not going to lose our cities over this. And this will go further. We're starting very strongly with D.C., and we're going to clean it up real quick, very quickly, as they say. Days ago, a former member of the DOJ staff was savagely beaten by a band of roving thugs after defending a young woman from an attempted carjacking.
Big balls.
He was left dripping in blood. He thought he was dead, with a broken nose and concussion. Can't believe that he's alive. He can't believe it.
They messed him up. They messed
In
him
June,
up
a 21-year-old congressional intern was tragically killed after being hit by a stray bullet in a drive-by shooting. A former Trump administration official named Mike Gill, fantastic person, was murdered last year in cold blood in a carjacking blocks away from the White House. We all knew him. Great person. Waiting for his wife as she was walking to the car. A Democrat congressman was also carjacked at gunpoint not far from the Capitol. And in 2023, an aide to Senator Rand Paul was stabbed in the chest and head by a demented lunatic as he walked down the street, just absolutely for no reason. Horrifically, last July 4th weekend, a 3-year-old girl was shot in the head and killed while sitting in a car near the Capitol.
Awful.
It's becoming a situation of complete and total lawlessness. And we're getting rid of the slums, too. We have slums here. We're getting rid of them. I know it's not politically correct. You'll say, oh, so terrible. No, we're getting rid of the slums where they live. Caravans of mass youth rampage through city streets at all times of the day. There are ATVs, motorbikes. They travel pretty well. Entire neighborhoods are now under emergency curfews. Just this past weekend, gunfire went through, and you saw that, the Navy Yard. I saw it this morning. They saw that they fought back against, see, they fight back until you knock the hell out of them, because it's the only language they understand. But they fought back against law enforcement last night. And they're not going to be fighting back long, because I've instructed them and told them whatever happens, you know, they love to spit in the face of the police. As the police are standing up there in uniform, they're standing, and they're screaming at them an inch away from their face. And then they start spitting in their face. And I said, you tell them, you spit and we hit.
I like it.
And they can hit real hard. It's a disgusting thing. I've watched that for years, for 3-4 years. I've watched them. The police are standing, and they're told, don't do anything under any search. So and you can see they want to get at it. And they're standing there, and people are spitting in their face, and they're not allowed to do anything. But now they are allowed to do whatever the hell they want.
Donald Trump
This dire public
untying the
safety
hands.
crisis stems directly from the abject failures of the city's local leadership. The radical left city council adopted no cash bail. By the way, every place in the country where you have no cash bail is a disaster. That's what started the problem in New York, and they don't change it. They don't want to change it. That's what started it in Chicago. I mean, bad politicians started it, bad leadership started it, but that was the one thing that's central, no cash bail. Somebody murders somebody and they're out on no cash bail.
Insane.
Before the day is out. We're going to end that in Chicago. We're going to change the statute. I spoke with Pam and Todd and everybody. We're going to change the statute, and I'm going to have to get the Republicans to vote because the Democrats are weak on crime. Totally weak on crime. They don't know why. They want to stop because they get mugged too. But we're going to change no cash bail. We're going to change the statute and get rid of some of the other things. And we'll count on the Republicans in Congress and Senate to vote. We have the majority, so we'll vote. We don't have a big majority, but we've gotten everything, including the great, big, beautiful bill. Got that done, and that's one of the greatest things that's ever happened to people in this country. They're starting to figure it out, how good it is. Biggest tax cut in history. So many things. But we'll be able to get that done. So, Todd, if you and Pam can draw up things working with the people, we will. I'll get it passed. We'll get it passed with the Republicans. Probably won't get, think of this, probably won't get one Democrat vote because they have no idea what they're doing. That's why they want men playing in women's sports. That's why they want transgender for everybody. Everybody transgender.
Yeah.
And they just got walloped in an election, in a landslide, and they haven't changed one thing. I saw the other day the certain gentleman who was a very well-known politician, Democrat, was fighting like hell that men should be allowed to play in women's sport. They just don't get it. They said it's an 80-20 issue, and I think it's a 97-3 issue. And I don't know who the three are. I've never heard anybody nobody's ever come up to me, sir, you have to let men play in women's sports. You have to do it, sir. Nobody's ever approached me. I don't know where this issue even comes from. Never seen anything like it.
So that's Donald Trump. He's given some statements on liberating D.C. We're going to rejoin this press conference here momentarily. I do expect there's a room full of reporters that we're going to get many, many questions on a myriad of topics, up to and including the peace summit that's happening in Alaska on Friday. We're going to cover this press conference live when we get back. Hang out with us. It's 9:51 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Yeah, listen to that promo. I hear good things about that Chris Hand guy. It's 9:51, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. It's back to school time, and Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling is bringing the buzz with big savings and sweet giveaways. If you got septic issues, now's the time to act. I mean, well, you probably should have acted yesterday. Let's be perfectly honest. But if you call Busy Bee, you'll get 15% off any septic work, main drain lines, or whole home repipes just in time for the new school year. Upgrade your HVAC system, and you can get entered to win the Healthy Hive giveaway. That's a $1,500 sponsorship to the local school of your choice. The school's got to be within the service area, and forget the red apple. How about you give that teacher of your kid a Beehive Club membership? This is going to grease the wheels for the school year better than anything else could. You buy one Beehive Club membership, you get a free membership to give to a local teacher, coach, or faculty member at your school. Buy one, gift one. It's that simple. Plus, you can breathe easier with $100 off indoor air quality products. All you got to do is call Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling today. 615-775-7833, 615-775-7833, or find them online, busybeehvac.com.
President Trump calls it Liberation Day for Washington, D.C. as he orders a federal takeover of the D.C. police and a milling and paving project that could make your commute a real nightmare. Coming up here at 10 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
That's Joan Jones in the newsroom. My name's Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. Donald Trump federalizing the D.C. police. That's going on right now. The press conference is currently happening. But have you guys heard what the underbelly of the internet conspiracy theory is on what's really happening?
No, I haven't.
Bunch of Democrats are going to be indicted. So Donald Trump is preparing for mass unrest.
Ooh.
Have you seen that? That's what they're talking about. That's what they're talking about online. J.D. Vance actually over the weekend predicted many indictments coming for many Democrats. I got that audio for you on the way. The press conference with Donald Trump still ongoing right now at the White House press briefing room. Let's take a little listen. They are going to open this up to questions at some point.
Interior, but he's in charge of the U.S. Park Police. And I've heard so many great things about the Park Police. They're proud of it. They've been there for a long time. Their families oftentimes grow into the roles. They love the country. They love this area. So, Doug, could you say a few words, please?
They're giving it over to Doug Burgum.
Thank you, Mr. President.
You like Doug?
On behalf of the U.S. Park Police, this is the oldest federal police force in the nation. They were formed in 1791 by none other than President George Washington. They've got the awesome responsibility of protecting our nation's most sacred monuments. The National Mall, Washington Monument, Jefferson Memorial, Lincoln Memorial, Statue of Liberty, and out west, the Presidio and the Golden Gate area. These folks have tens of millions of visitors a year, the kind of people that President Trump's talking about that come from around the country and around the world to see our sacred and learn about our history and our sacred monuments. They've been doing a fantastic job, but they are so pleased, the rank and file, that President Trump is now allowing them to enforce the law. As those of you that live in the city may know, that the circles and the triangle parks that are spread throughout D.C. are actually federal park property. So the U.S. Park Police also have responsibility for that. These became littered with homeless camps under the Biden administration. All of you saw that. Since President Trump's executive order on March 27th, making D.C. safe and beautiful again, the U.S. Park Police have removed over 70 homeless camps. And President Trump also talked about beautification. They're stopping and enforcing the laws against graffiti on our monuments. They've removed over 80 specific attacks against our history with graffiti on our monuments. So they continue to do a great job, whether it's in their vehicles, on foot, or on the mounted police that you see around the National Mall.
I love it. I love it. And you can tell that the police love that Donald Trump is untying their hands as well. All these guys want to do is a good job, and they don't want the government to get in the way. And it seemed like under Biden, all the government did was get in the way. Hegseth is getting up to the podium now. We'll come back to this press conference when we return after the news with Joan Jones, which kicks off right now on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Good morning. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. And yes, President Trump is preparing to activate several hundred National Guard troops in Washington, D.C. to quell the violent crime that plagues the capital city. He is speaking right now, or he was just moments ago, speaking at a press conference.
Under the authorities vested in me as the President of the United States, I'm officially invoking Section 740 of the District of Columbia Home Rule Act. You know what that is? And placing the D.C. Metropolitan Police Department under direct federal control.
And speaking right now, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth. Now, the president has formally declared a public safety emergency. The press conference is ongoing, and just as Chris said, he'll take questions as well. So we'll keep you up to date on the latest as the president continues. Starting tonight, drivers can expect some overnight closures on I-40 near BNA for construction. TDOT crews will close 3 lanes between 8 p.m. and 4 a.m., starting with the eastbound side and then switching over to the westbound side over the course of several weeks. Exit ramps will likely be closed as well. We've got new details about the motive in Friday's attack at the Centers for Disease Control in Atlanta that left a police officer and the suspected gunman dead. An email from the CDC to employees said the suspect believes side effects from the COVID vaccine made him sick and depressed.
Employees Employees I've talked to the last several days talk about how they feel like they've been under constant attack since the pandemic. There were some of them who gathered over the weekend and rallied at a park in Atlanta, calling for something to be done. And in fact, the CDC has actually told some 10,000 employees to work from home and not come onto any of their campuses nationwide because law enforcement agents are still assessing any threats or any potential threats that may be targeted at CDC employees.
And that's ABC's Faith Abubey. In Texas, Governor Greg Abbott said he'll call a special session of the Texas legislature, which will last for 30 days. And when it's over, he'll call another and then another one. When absent Democrats do return to Texas, Abbott said they'll be arrested for violating their oath of office, and they'll have to come back to get paid, too. Abbott also making their paychecks available only at the state capitol. That is the latest news. We've got your weather up next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
It's 10:06 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, how are you? My name's Chris Hay, and the show's brought to you by our friends at Better Water LLC. And you might be asking yourself, why on earth would I need a water filtration system? Well, I'll tell you.
I don't like them putting chemicals in the water that turn the friggin' frogs gay.
It's a reason. BetterWater.com. We're covering the press conference that's happening right now in D.C. in the White House press briefing room. Donald Trump federalizing the D.C. police to quell the crime that has been going on via the youth and just the insane amount of violence that's been happening in D.C. Currently, we have FBI Director Kash Patel speaking, and we're going to rejoin this press conference live. And if you're watching on Super Talk TV, you can watch this press conference as well.
In law enforcement capacities. And when you have the DOJ and President Trump driving behind this mission, We are going to clean up Washington, D.C., and we're going to do it the right way, the lawful way, and we're going to make sure Washington, D.C. is safe again. Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, Attorney General.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Cash. So the process begins right now. It actually started over the weekend, and we confronted a lot of very bad people. But it's going to be something that will be pretty amazing to you as you watch it. And I think most of you say it's a beautiful thing to do it right. We're going to be removing homeless encampments from all over our parks, our beautiful, beautiful parks, which now a lot of people can't walk on. They're very dirty, we've got a lot of problems. But we've already started that. We're moving the encampments away, trying to take care of people. Some of those people, we don't know how they even got there. Some of those people are from different countries, different parts of the world. Nobody knows who they are. They have no idea, but they're there. We're getting rid of the people from underpasses and public spaces from all over the city. There are many places that they can go, and we're going to help them as much as you can help. But they'll not be allowed to turn our capital into a wasteland.
Good.
For the world to see. The Metropolitan Police Department and the federal authorities will be supported in the effort, a really big effort, the 800 D.C. National Guardsmen that we'll put on, and much more if necessary, much more. You remember I said, I offered 10,000 once. Remember I said to a certain person, a person who I thought always was highly overrated, not very competent, but I said, if you need them, we'll give you 10,000 of the military or the National Guard. They turned me down. But if necessary, we're going to move service members directly to joining the Guardsmen. And that'll take place very rapidly, and that'll be done in conjunction with Pam and with Pete and everybody else. Washington, D.C. should be one of the safest, cleanest, and most beautiful cities anywhere in the world. And we're going to make it that. We're going to make it safe. We're going to make it smart. We're going to make it beautiful, so beautiful. Some of the buildings, we're going to add to it. You see what we've done at the White House. White House is a whole different building. I do that in my part-time because it's a natural instinct as a real estate person. I was very good at that, and I was very good at fixing things up. I like fixing things up. You see what's happening. The marble floors are being reinstalled, renovated, fixed. The whole place is becoming very beautiful. We're going to be adding a magnificent ballroom, most beautiful ballroom, I think, anywhere. We need it. I would have certainly loved to have had it today. I think we would have filled it up. A lot of you are standing outside, can't get in this room. I've never seen the room like this, which tells me that you want to talk about, I mean, this was a D.C. news conference. It tells me that you want to talk about crime in D.C. and beautification of D.C., but I'm going to put that's easy. And I think, frankly, fixing the crime with the pros, fixing the crime is easy, too. A person who I've known for a long time, and she's been incredible. She was a fantastic, one of the best ever district attorneys in New York. She was in Westchester, and she became a judge, very successful judge. And then she went into show business because she was such a good DA and such a good judge, tough judge, but fair, always fair. Nobody ever complained about that, but she was tough. And because of that and her reputation, she went into showbiz. So a lot of people don't, they think of Janine as showbiz. Actually, showbiz was not her thing. And she did great. She was on, along with a couple of other of my friends, on the #1 show. And she did great, but this is what she loves doing. This is really her baby. What she's going to do is going to be incredible. And I'd like to speak for just a few seconds on what she has in mind, what she wants to do. We're going to be appointing some judges. We have some open spots, and we're going to take people, because the judges are letting killers out. They're just saying, go, that's okay, don't worry about it. So we're putting some, Pam recommended, Todd recommended, some judges that are great. Janine recommended. Janine's given me 3 great candidates already. We have about 10 open spots, and we can probably create some more. We need them. Janine, would you say a few words, please?
Did you see the video of Judge Janine the other day? They found an illegal alien being a gardener at the state capitol. It's crazy.
And to all my partners here, we all want the same thing. We all want a safe city. We want a safe capital. We want to be able to bring our families here. We want to be able to come and enjoy the history that makes this place great.
Yep.
And unfortunately, we are not in that position right now. And Mr. President, I want to thank you for taking the step that we need right now to make criminals understand that they are not going to get away with it anymore. And I'm not going to stand here and go over and over the cases. But what I can tell you is this. I see too much violent crime being committed by young punks who think that they can get together in gangs and crews and beat the hell out of you or anyone else. They don't care where they are. They can be in DuPont Circle, but they know that we can't touch them. Why? Because the laws are weak. I can't touch you if you're 14, 15, 16, 17 years old and you have a gun. I convict someone of shooting another person with an illegal gun on a public bus in the chest, intent to kill, I convict him. And you know what the judge gives him? Probation.
Insane.
Says you should go to college. We need to go after the D.C. Council and their absurd laws. We need to get rid of this concept of, no cash bail. We need to recognize that the people who matter are the law-abiding citizens. And it starts today. But it's not going to end today, because the president is going to do everything we need to do to make sure that these emboldened criminals understand we see you, we're watching you, and we're going to change the law to catch you. And my final note is this. These kids understand that the jurisdiction is through the state attorney general, Brian Schwab. I did a poster of the young man from Doge who was beaten bloody with a severe concussion, a broken nose. And then I did a poster of what happens to those kids, because I can't arrest them, I can't prosecute them. They go to family court, and they get to do yoga and arts and crafts.
Wow.
Enough. It changes today. Thank you, Mr. President.
Yeah, I don't know. Yoga and arts and crafts isn't a proper punishment for beating a man on the streets of D.C.
If I could, I just signed some executive orders. I'd like to have Will please come up and we'll let the people know what we signed. Do you want to put them down?
Yes, sir.
Go ahead.
A short while ago in the Oval Office, President Trump signed 2 crucial executive actions to deal with the emergency crime conditions we currently face in the District of Columbia. The first of these was an executive order, as President Trump said before, invoking his powers under Section 40 of the Home Rule Act to take federal control of the D.C. Metropolitan Police Department. Along with that executive order, President Trump signed the statutorily required notification letters to Mayor Bowser and to the relevant House and Senate committee leaders. The second major executive action that President Trump signed was a presidential memorandum directing the Secretary of Defense to utilize the National Guard to address the conditions we see on our streets here in D.C. It also authorized the Secretary of Defense to work with state governors to utilize their National Guard units if necessary as well. These are bold, decisive steps intended to combat the out-of-control crime conditions we've seen on D.C.'s streets for far too long. And I, for one, am deeply proud to be part of an administration that's finally coming to terms with these issues, sir.
Thank you very much.
Sir.
Thank you. So, just to conclude, Washington, D.C. should be one of the safest, cleanest, most beautiful places anywhere in the world. It was years ago. We had one problem that was a pretty big problem. The radical left got out of control and they started trying to rip down statues. And I said, let's go pass a law real fast. We're going to do it real fast. But we were blocked by the Democrats who do not want safety. Nobody gets it. I don't get it. They don't get it because they can't get votes. I don't know how they can win an election with this, but they don't want safety. And I found an old statute, very old, early 1900s, that said if you so much as touch or even think about destroying a statue or a monument in Washington, D.C., you go to jail for 10 years with no probation, no anything. In other words, slightly different than we have today. Today we have cashless bail. There you get jailed 10 years. No curtailed sentence, 10 years. And we took it out. Nobody used it. It was never used because, it's harsh. And you remember they started to rip down the statue of Abraham Lincoln. I said, that's a tough one to rip down. He was pretty good, Pam. I think he was pretty good. When the ropes started going around Abraham Lincoln to pull him down, Andrew Jackson, others, and they were heading to the Jefferson Memorial, Thomas Jefferson. They're going to do a big number there. I said, it's time. And I signed that statute immediately. We had it updated. We made it use the same language, all passed by Congress. And I announced it's 10 years in jail, no probation, no anything, 10 years, no curtail sentence if you so much as touch a statue.
Good.
In Washington, D.C. And it was an amazing sight, beautiful sight. Everybody just left. The ropes were hanging around Andrew Jackson, and there were 2 ropes around Abraham Lincoln. They left the rope, but everybody just left. And that was the last problem we ever had. You know, that was the last problem that we ever had with the statues. They were going wild, and somebody came to me and said, sir, in 1910, I don't want to give you an exact because you'll say, Donald Trump gave us wrong dates around like early on. You know, if I'm slightly off, they make you sound a little bad. So I won't put myself in that position. I won't put you in that position because I think everybody agrees with what we're doing today. But when I signed that thing, it was like a miracle. Everybody left. They were gone. They were starting to march down. They started the march toward Thomas Jefferson. And I figured he was always going to be safe. But they found something with him, and they found something with Abraham Lincoln. And
Heat Press Nation is America.
So that's Donald Trump. He's still going on, but what the big news is that he's invoked the D.C. Home Rule Act. That's going to place the Metro Police Department under federal control. He's going to deploy the National Guard, and we are going to have a safe capital of this country again. And now, my family was there last week, and as this story was breaking out, I was biting my nails a little bit. I was like, what did I send them into? Donald Trump understands the level of crime that's taking place in D.C., and he's not going to stand for it anymore, referencing what he did during the Summer of Love, the statutes that he pulled from the early 1900s. If you touch a statue, you'll go to prison for 10 years. I assume he's going to be opening this up to questions momentarily from the press. He said he's wrapping things up, and we're going to continue covering this live as he goes to the press to start taking questions. And from there, I believe that this is going to turn into a no-holds-barred situation. There is a lot that they want to ask the president about. We have a grand jury. We were requesting a judge to release the grand jury testimony of the Epstein files. That has since been denied. I'm assuming somebody's going to ask him about that. We have the peace deal coming, or peace summit, should I say, coming on Friday to Alaska. Putin is going to be in town. I assume somebody is going to ask about that, plus a myriad of other topics that the press is going to hurl at him. When he starts answering questions, we'll jump back into this press conference, and we'll bring it to you live right here on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. If you didn't have the gig that you have and you're not at the White House, you're not the reporter, would you raise a family in that area?
Absolutely not.
And either they're going to straighten their act out in the terms of government and in terms of protection, or we're going to have to federalize and run it the way it's supposed to be run.
It's brutal out here. It can be really, really tough. I don't live in D.C. proper anymore because it's just gotten kind of out of control. It's gotten dirtier, it's gotten more crowded, and a lot more violence, as you just alluded to. But my first year living here, I was seeing a lot of that, and it grew very quickly. So I moved here, I would say, in 2023. By the time I moved out after a year, it got really crowded. It got really messy. I remember getting emails from my apartment complex saying that there was a shooting just across the street, and it was maybe every other weekend. And I was saying, what decision did I make to even live here? I mean, obviously close proximity to the White House, which is what I wanted.
Yeah.
But wow, what a difference a year makes under, a leadership that doesn't really care that much about crime.
President Trump does not hold back as he announces a federal takeover of D.C.'s police. Also, buy this and don't buy that. We've got the limits that Tennessee wants to put on SNAP benefits. That and more coming up here at 10:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
That's Joan Jones in the newsroom. My name's Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by Better Water LLC. We've been covering this Donald Trump press conference. They are federalizing the police in Washington, D.C., deploying National Guard. Terry in Mount Juliet is on the line. He's got a thought on the press conference. What's up, Terry?
Hey, Chris. Hey, I just wanted to confirm that Trump, he's acting like an American. This is what people hate Americans, because we see a problem and we just solve it, right? I was active duty. When I was active duty in the Air Force, you go to the Middle East, you go to Europe and work with NATO. Everybody's got to sit around. Ask about the family, have tea, and after about a half an hour, you get around to discussing the problem. But they didn't like the American way of handling problems, because, hey, you Americans see a problem, you go straight line to it and try to resolve it. I go, yeah.
Yeah,
that's the way we do it. Right?
Isn't that a weird way of thinking and acting? Terry, I appreciate the call, man, and I appreciate your service. Thank you, brother. Appreciate it. 615-737-9986 if you want to join the conversation. Donald Trump currently taking questions from reporters in the White House press briefing room. We're going to join it live.
That send mixed messages that if marijuana is okay, some drugs are okay, but we're trying to clean up crime. How do they go hand in hand?
We're only looking at that. That's early, but somebody reported it, which is fine. We're looking at it. Some people like it. Some people hate it. Some people hate the whole concept of marijuana because if it does bad for the children, it does bad for people that are older than children. But we're looking at reclassification, and we'll make a determination over the next few weeks. And that determination hopefully will be the right one. It's a very complicated subject, the subject of marijuana. I've heard great things having to do with medical, and I've had bad things having to do with just about everything else. But medical and for pain and various things, I've heard some pretty good things, but
tell
for
John
other
Rose.
things, I've heard some pretty bad things. The other part of your question, we're just going to see what happens with it all. We're going to have a tremendous success in what we're doing. Other cities are hopefully watching this. They're all watching, just like everyone's watching here. They're all watching, and maybe they'll clean up, and maybe they'll self-do this and get rid of the cashless bail thing and all of the things that caused the problem. I mean, if you go back, this whole thing with cashless bail is a disaster. So many problems came that we never had before. So they're watching us today, and if they don't learn their lesson, if they haven't studied us properly, because we're going to be very successful. I have zero doubt about that. It's going to be. It's a question of will it be really fast, like the border. You know, everyone said, they used to say, Biden used to say, I need legislation. I didn't get any legislation. I called up our people, and we did a great job. Tom Homan was great. As you know, our secretary did a great job. They did a great job. There's no games. They didn't play games. And we're going to have the same thing here. But then I'm going to look at New York in a little while. Let's do this. Let's do this together. Let's see. It's going to go pretty quickly. And if we need to, we're going to do the same thing in Chicago, which is a disaster. We have a mayor there who's totally incompetent.
Getting booed by his own voters.
He's an incompetent man. And we have an incompetent governor there. Pritzker's an incompetent. His family threw him out of the business, and he ran for governor. And now I understand he wants to be president. But I noticed he lost a little weight, so maybe he has a chance. You never know what happens.
Savage.
But Pritzker's a gross incompetent guy, thrown out of the family business. But when I look at Chicago and I look at L.A., if we didn't go to L.A. 3 months ago, L.A. would be burning like the part that didn't burn. If he would have allowed the water to come down, which I told him about in my first term, I said, you're going to have problems, let it come down. We actually sent in our military to have the water come down into L.A. They still didn't want it to come down after the fires. But that was it. We have it coming down. But hopefully L.A. is watching. That mayor also. The city's burning. They lost like 25,000 homes. I went there the day after the fire. You were there, and I saw people standing in front of a burned down home. It was, their homes were incinerated. They weren't like, even the steel was literally, it was all warped and literally disintegrated because of the winds and the flame and the whole thing, like a blowtorch. They were standing on this beautiful day, maybe a couple of days after. We gave it a little time because what they had suffered. Almost 25,000 homes. And you see what's happening now. They didn't give their permits. I went to a town hall meeting.
Yep.
I said, we're going to get you the federal permits, which are much harder. Almost immediately. Lee Zeldin is a star. He did an incredible job. They have all their federal permits. They don't have their city permits. And the mayor said to me, we think we could have them in 2 years. I was walking down the street, and I met with firemen and police. And I was saying hello to many people that were standing in front of their homes with yellow tape. You can't go in. You can't go onto the lot. And those people wanted to start rebuilding their homes then and there. And the mayor said we should be able to get them the permits within 2 years.
It's a joke. I mean, Donald Trump highlighting the issues in major blue cities. Dan and myself actually talked about this on our podcast, Mostly Peaceful. And we said, you know, what is the best run blue city? And we landed on Nashville, and it's not because of the Democrat leadership. It's in spite of the Democrat leadership. It's because of the Republican state legislature that we have here. But Donald Trump, I mean, he could spend all day highlighting the issues of big blue cities, and he's not wrong. He's not wrong about any of this stuff. We're going to join this press conference live after the headlines with Joan Jones, which starts right now.
Good morning, 1031. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories, and you've been listening to it. President Trump announcing he's seizing control of D.C.'s police force and deploying the National Guard. A major crackdown in the capital city that the president says is out of control.
Our capital city has been overtaken by violent gangs and bloodthirsty criminals, roving mobs of wild youth, drugged out maniacs and homeless people. And we're not going to let it happen anymore. We're not going to take it.
The D.C. Guard says it has some 2,700 personnel available. It is the country's only National Guard unit, reporting exclusively to the president. More states are putting limits on what SNAP benefits can be used for. And now Governor Bill Lee is hoping to do the same here in Tennessee. Here's Channel 4's Danielle Ledbetter.
The state is now requesting for federal waivers to let SNAP recipients buy items like hot rotisserie chicken from the grocery store, but it would take away sugary drinks like soda and heavily processed foods. And those foods would be classified as anything that lists sugar, corn syrup, or high fructose corn syrup as one of the first two ingredients.
The goal, says the governor, is to improve health outcomes and to reduce chronic conditions like diabetes. We know the identity of the man who was struck and killed on Shelbyville Highway on Friday. Police are saying 86-year-old Jeremy Smotherman lived along that road and had gone to help a driver who was stranded in the median. He was killed afterward, crossing Highway 231 on his way back to his home. That's when another car hit and killed him. Neighbors say it is dangerous in that area with no sidewalks and no safe way to cross the busy 4-lane road. That is the latest news. We've got weather up next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand here for the Wellness Institute of Nashville. And if you're running around and you got back or neck or knee pain, you're not moving as fast as you could, and you need to get yourself down to the Wellness Institute of Nashville. This could change everything for you. It's called the Big Daddy Trump Special, and it's from the Wellness Institute. Just $12 is going to get you a full exam, x-rays if needed, a well-explained diagnosis, and your first treatment. That's right, all of that for only $12. Dr. Mitchell, Dr. Ashley, they're experts in eliminating your pain, and they hear it all the time. Why didn't I come see you guys first? Don't say that to them. Go to the Wellness Institute of Nashville first. Back pain, neck pain, sciatica, numbness, bulging discs, they'll treat it all with non-surgical spinal decompression, robot lasers, and even anti-gravity machines. What you're not going to find is surgery, injections, or painkillers. It's time to grab your MRI and get ready to finally understand your condition and fix it. Call the Wellness Institute of Nashville today, 615-246-5009. That's 615-246-5009, or find them online at painisbad.com.
For many of us, generators are becoming a must-have household appliance. From unpredictable weather to surprise outages, it's better to be safe than sorry. Generator Supercenter of Nashville offers fast and easy installations with 24/7 service and monitoring to all brands of generators and expert repairs done right. Our mission is to make owning a backup generator simple and easy. Visit your local store today or check us out online. Generator Supercenter of Nashville. We serve all Middle Tennessee.
that been on for a while? No?
No, actually, perfect timing.
All right. I like walk in, the music's on. I'm like, that's not a good sign. It's 10:37, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. I had no idea.
You're good. They call it walk-up music for a reason.
Speaking of,
you're not a fan of that. That's
no,
right.
I'm not. But we're doing it again. Baseball
yeah?
season's starting. Oh, yeah, dude.
You excited?
Dude, oh, yeah. We're pumped.
Dude,
we're pumped.
Shooting guns and playing baseball? What's more American?
What's more American than that? My boys shot their guns for the first time over the weekend.
So cool.
They're 6 and 7 currently, though the 7-year-old's about to level up here in about 14 days.
Yeah.
A little over 14 days. He's going to be turning 8. So, yeah, we let him shoot some firearms over the weekend. It was awesome. It was so much fun. And they did a great job. If you wanted to see the video of my boys shooting their Savage Mark II little 22 rifle, you can find the video on my Instagram page at ChrisHand.air, and let me know what you think about the big old smiles at the end.
Yeah, I do love watching him both arms forward trying to pull the trigger. And
the best thing was when Brooks, my 7-year-old, he looks at the camera and he goes, "Did I hit anything?" We just said, "You sure did, bud.
You got him.
You sure did.
Got him good."
President Trump is having a press conference right now. He's taking questions from reporters. He has just federalized the police in D.C. He has said that he's going to be deploying the National Guard. We're going to see leftists melting down left and right. In fact, they're currently doing so outside D.C., which will bring you some of those highlights as well. But we'll do that after Donald Trump is done answering questions. He's live in the White House press briefing room. We're going to join that press conference live, currently in progress.
Valuable property. If you're in a lake, a river, or an ocean, it's always the best property. Well, Ukraine, a lot of people don't know that Ukraine was largely 1,000 miles of ocean. That's gone. Other than one small area, Odessa. It's a small area. There's just a little bit of water left. So I'm going to go and see the parameters. Now, I may leave and say, good luck, and that'll be the end. I may say this is not going to be settled. I mean, there are those that believe that Putin wanted all of Ukraine. I happen to be one of them, by the way. I think if it weren't for me, he would not be even talking to anybody else right now.
Facts.
But I'm going to meet with him. We're going to see what the parameters are. I'm then going to call up President Zelensky and the European leaders right after the meeting, yeah. And I'm going to tell them what kind of a deal. I'm not going to make a deal. It's not up to me to make a deal. I think a deal should be made for both. I think Russia has to get back into building their country. It's a massive country. I think they have 11 time zones, if you can believe it. It's a massive, it's by far, from the standpoint of land, it's by far the largest.
11 times.
They have tremendous potential in Russia to do well. They're not doing well. Their economy is not doing well right now because it's been very well disturbed by this. It doesn't help when the President of the United States tells their largest or second largest oil buyer that we're putting a 50% tariff on you if you buy oil from Russia. That was a big blow.
Yep.
And then they say, gee, he wasn't so tough. Nobody else would have done that. And I haven't stopped there. I mean, look, I was all set to do things far bigger than that, but I got a call that they'd like to meet, and I'm going to see what they want to meet about. I'd like to see a ceasefire. I'd like to see the best deal that could be made for both parties. You know, it takes two to tango, right? So ultimately, I'll have a meeting next week. I had a great relationship with him, considering the fact that I was not nice to him because of the pipeline. I ended the pipeline. I also gave the javelins. Do you ever hear of a javelin? Javelin is called a tank buster. They say that Obama gave them sheets and I gave them javelins. If it weren't for me, all those tanks that were destroyed at the first days of the war because the tanks got stuck in the mud, some commander made a better. They would have been in Kiev in 4 hours going down the highway. But a Russian general made a brilliant decision to go through the farmland instead. And they just had torrential rains, and the rains were so bad, and it was mud, and those tanks got stuck in the mud. I don't know who that general is, but knowing Vladimir, he's probably not around any longer because all those tanks were stuck in the mud, and they went along with the javelins. I gave them the javelins. You know that, right? I gave them javelins. They gave them sheets. But I'm going to meet with President Putin, and we're going to see what he has in mind. And if it's a fair deal, I'll reveal it to the European Union leaders and to the NATO leaders, and also to President Zelensky. I think out of respect, I'll call him first, and then I'll call them after. And I may say, lots of luck, keep fighting, or I may say we can make a deal.
If not,
I will tell you this, I've seen a poll coming out of Ukraine. 88% of the people would like to see a deal made.
Yep.
And if you go back 3 years, everybody was gung-ho for war. You know, everybody's gung-ho for war until you have it. It's an amazing thing. I had it with a couple of countries where I couldn't get a deal done with one particular country. And I just couldn't. The guy's great. He's a friend of mine. Great. Good leader. Tough as hell. I couldn't get the deal done. And then he went into war for a short period of time. You know where I'm talking about. First term. And it was nasty. Guys being killed all over the place. And he went through 1 week of war, and I was able to get the deal done. He said, this is nasty. Yes, please.
Yeah, just to follow up on what you were saying there. First of all, Volodymyr Zelensky is not invited on Friday?
He wasn't a part of it. I would say he could go, but he's gone to a lot of meetings. You know, he's been there for 3.5 years. Nothing happened.
And what is the definition?
I mean, do you want somebody that's been doing this for 3.5 years? What's the definition of a good deal? I'll tell you after I hear what the deal is. Because there could be many definitions. You know, you're talking about a very large and complex situation. Now, I tell you, the war that I just settled with Azerbaijan and with, as you know, and Armenia was almost as complex as this one, having to do with routes, trade.
Meeting on Friday with Vladimir Putin.
Well, we're going to have a meeting with Vladimir Putin, and at the end of that meeting, probably in the first 2 minutes, I'll know exactly whether or not a deal can be made.
How will you know that?
Because that's what I do. I make deals.
Check the vibe.
So good.
Check the vibe.
Two questions, one about China, one about Russia, if I could. On China, your administration agreed to send the most advanced or advanced NVIDIA and AMD chips.
No, obsolete. No.
Obsolete chip. Well, and then 15% of the
You
profits
mean the
come
20s? No. This is an old chip that China already has. And I deal with Jensen, who's a great guy, and NVIDIA. The chip that we're talking about, the H20, it's an old chip. China already has it in a different form, different name, but they have it. Or they have a combination of two will make up for it and even then some. Now Jensen Jensen's a very brilliant guy, and Jensen also has a new chip, the Blackwell. Do you know what the Blackwell is? The Blackwell is super duper advanced. I wouldn't make a deal with that, although it's possible I'd make a deal, a somewhat enhanced in a negative way Blackwell. In other words, take 30% to 50% off of it. But that's the latest and the greatest in the world. Nobody has it. They won't have it for 5 years. But the H20 is obsolete. You know, it's one of those things, but it still has a market. So I said, listen, I want 20% if I'm going to approve this for you, for the country, for our country, for the U.S. I don't want it myself. You know, every time I say like 747, I want, yeah, for the Air Force. So I just wanted, so when I say I want 20, I want for the country. I only care about the country. I don't care about myself. And he said, would you make it 15? So we negotiate a little deal. So he's selling a essentially old chip that Huawei has a similar chip, a chip that does the same thing. And I said, good, if I'm going to give it to you, because they have a, they have a stopper, what we call a stopper, not allowed to do it. It's really known as a restrictive covenant. And I said, if I'm going to do that, I want you to pay us as a country something, because I'm giving you a release. I released them only from the H20. Now, on the Blackwell, I think he's coming to see me again about that. But that will be a unenhanced version of the big one. Like, I don't know if you know it, we will sometimes sell fighter jets to a country, and we'll give them 20% less than we have. Do you know what I mean, right? That's just it.
So on Russia, do you see a time, Mr. President, when there could be normal trade between the U.S. and Russia? Should your meeting go well, should there be peace?
I do, yeah. Russia has a very valuable piece of land. If Vladimir Putin would go toward business instead of toward war, it's a warring nation. That's what they do. They fight a lot of wars. A friend of mine said Russia's tough because they just keep on fighting. They beat Hitler, so did we, and they beat Napoleon. They've been doing this for a long time. I asked a question to a very, very smart man that some people like and some people don't like. Viktor Orban, right, from Hungary, the head of Hungary, and he's in that same area and knows the two countries very well. I said, this was before Biden didn't do anything to get us out of it. He could have gotten us out of that. It would have never happened. I said, so can Russia be beaten by Ukraine? He looked at me like, what a stupid question. He said, Russia's a massive country, and they win their country, and they win their life through wars. They fight wars. That's what they do. He said, China beats you with trade. Russia beats you with war. That was a very interesting statement. China's not beating us with trade, not when I'm in charge. But they were beating Biden with trade, but they never beat us with trade. Don't forget, China had to pay $400 billion worth of tariffs when I was last time. That was last time. And if we didn't have COVID, all of this stuff we would be loaded. We're finding hundreds of billions of dollars of cash is pouring into our country now because of tariffs. And all we're doing is we're doing what they do to us. It's so beautiful to see it. They found last month, as you saw, $25 billion of excess cash flow. They're saying, where did it come from? I said, I'll tell you where it came from. It came from a place called tariffs, and we're doing very well. We're really doing well. But I expect to have a meeting with Putin that I think it'll be good, but it might be bad. And I'm here for one reason, to get rid of a war that somebody else started. Should have never happened. And if I could end it, great. Complex war, a lot of bad blood, But Zelensky's been there for 3.5 years. So if you put him in a room, now I will say this, ultimately I'm going to put the two of them in a room. I'll be there or won't be there. And I think it'll get solved. Yeah, please.
So that's Donald Trump again, laying out the fact that he's going to bring peace to these regions through economic means, trade means, and he'd be open to doing business with Russia should this war end. I think that this is an interesting development. We're going to rejoin this press conference live after the break. We're going to stop down here for a second. Any comments that you have, you want to get them into the text line, the phone lines are open as well, 615-737-9986. Phone lines always open here. You can jump in the YouTube chat as well if you want to watch this press conference live with us. We're streaming it on YouTube and Rumble. Just find 99.7 WTN. Hit like, hit subscribe, and we'll be back with more momentarily right here on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Now, before you ask, I definitely voted for this.
Okay. They didn't take Reese's or food stamps no more, no candy. So they went live when they said they're going to take out all the snacks. They're taking away all the snacks on EBT. What's the point of having it?
God, if you're 5'3" and you're 300 pounds, taxes ought not to pay for your bags of fudge rounds.
Go on, get your butt to work if you want to get some fudge rounds. Thank you for your attention to this matter.
The Reese, they didn't take the Reese off. Food stamps is right now.
President Trump says we're not going to take it. I got all the details for you coming up at 11 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
That's Ken Weaver back in the newsroom. My name's Chris Hand. The show's brought to you by Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners. You get those at betterwater.com. While President Trump is saying we're going to make D.C. safe, we're going to restore order in the nation's capital, many Americans look at this and go, good. This is actually, we're welcoming this. We've been looking forward to this. However, on the flip side, there are many people that are very, very upset. In fact, protests are propping up because Donald Trump is now going to be militarizing D.C.
We coming, and this is our city. Whose city? Whose city? Whose city?
Well, I would ask you, do you want your city to be just an absolute hellhole? Do you want your city to be a place where you could get carjacked at any red light, stop sign? That's what it is currently. Members of Congress being carjacked. Now, the way the camera angle does, they're doing, if you're watching on the stream, I don't think this is a very large protest, but it is a protest nonetheless. And they're very, very upset. Well, let's listen to some of these protesters first before we get back to this press conference, which is still ongoing, I believe, with Donald Trump. But these are the protesters in D.C.
Trying to provoke violence here, right here, in the black communities and in the brown communities, having ICE kidnap our neighbors, having the black community be harassed and profiled and want a response. We say, hell no, we won't go. Hell no, we won't go. We won't go.
We like carjackings. We like murders. We like businesses fleeing our city. Hell no, Donald Trump. How dare you? It's part of our culture. What?
I was getting ready to say, man, what are they rallying for?
Orange man bad.
Hell no, we won't go. When we say we won't go, that means we're not going to those mass incarceration, into their prisons and enslavement.
You will. Spoiler alert. You break the law now in D.C. Oh, you will.
We won't go into their ICE, what do you call his beautiful centers that he got. We won't go to where alligators live.
Ma'am. Ma'am. This is a Wendy's.
I knew it was coming.
Ma'am.
Oh, wow.
We won't go to where them alligators are at. Correct. You are an American citizen.
Right.
You will not go to where them alligators are at.
Oh.
Where else aren't you going to go?
Hell no, we won't go.
Hell no, we won't go. Hell no, we won't go. Hell no, we won't go.
Today we gather to speak plainly about policy path that sounds strong.
Sounds like speaking's hard for her.
But in truth, it weakens the very safety we see.
What safety do you see in D.C.? What safety is she talking about?
I was getting ready to say, idea. Man.
Believe it or not, getting shot's safe.
Apparently so.
Getting carjacked.
I really don't know what he said at the end of that sentence. I don't think he knows what he said either.
Getting carjacked is one of the safest things that you can do in D.C., actually.
Yeah, they're just making sure there's no criminals in your backseat.
We believe there is a better way to protect us all. One that respects rights to build trust and keep our communities truly safe, and that is fascism-free.
Fascism-free?
Yeah, it seems to be working.
We want this city to be fascism-free. Somebody wrote this speech for her, clearly.
Yeah.
She didn't proofread it before she got to the podium, clearly.
No.
We want D.C. to be fascism-free. Did she say that? She said that.
And keep our communities truly safe, and that is fascism-free.
What is it? What do you want it to be free of?
Truly safe, and that is fascism-free.
Okay. Just
got to make sure.
Just wanted to clarify. I've never heard of fascism. Sounds terrifying. I also don't want it in my city. 1101 Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast coming up in 5 minutes, and right now in our nation's capital.
Our capital city has been overtaken by violent gangs and bloodthirsty criminals, roving mobs of wild youth, drugged out maniacs and homeless people. And we're not going to let it happen anymore. We're not going to take it.
President Trump announcing he has put Washington, D.C.'s police department under federal control and deployed the National Guard to, quote, essentially stop violent crime in Washington, D.C.
You want to have safety in the streets. You want to be able to leave your apartment or your house where you live and feel safe and go into a store to buy a newspaper or buy something. And you don't have that now.
Reports indicate about 500 federal law enforcement officers are being assigned to patrols within Washington, D.C., drawn from various agencies, including the FBI, ATF, Drug Enforcement Agency, ICE, and Marshals Service. Right now in Tennessee, with Senator Marsha Blackburn seeking the governor's seat, there are questions about who would be appointed to take her place in the Senate. One of the candidates is Congressman Tim Burchett. He tells the Dan Mandis Show he'd be honored.
Sure, I want it. I would love the opportunity to be in the United States Senate. I think I've been fairly successful, and I think I could do the job.
Congressman Andy Ogle's also rumored to be interested in the seat. Well, the Trump administration going to spend part of the week preparing for the high-stakes meeting in Alaska between President Trump and Russia's Vladimir Putin on the war in Ukraine without Ukraine. Here's ABC News Global Affairs correspondent Martha Raddatz.
The president has already suggested any deal would involve, quote, swapping of territories, something Volodymyr Zelensky has made clear he will not do, saying Ukrainians will not give their land to the occupier.
And turning to sports, with opening day around the corner, the National Football League making recommendations to improve security league-wide following the deadly shooting near their Midtown Manhattan offices earlier this month, which killed 4 people.
According to a new memo sent to all 32 teams and obtained by ESPN, the NFL recommending 3 changes: updated threat assessments to identify risks, armed law enforcement or security officers at team and league facilities, and weapons screenings to enter those locations, similar to game day procedures.
That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Elon Musk's privately funded tunnel from downtown BNA.
The most cutting-edge transit systems in the world.
They call it the Music City Loop. We call it the BNA hole.
We've submitted a list of questions, and so we're looking forward to the opportunity to get answers.
Questions like, how does a tunnel work? Or how can I be the biggest a-hole in the room without even trying? Because clearly, the fiscally responsible thing to do is to keep traffic backed up until every driver becomes an a-hole. The BNA hole. Zero cost to the taxpayers, and that's the real problem for the left.
I kind of think that's on brand.
Not enough opportunity to play tax collector a-hole. The BNA hole, where progress goes to upset liberals.
It's 11:06 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. Proud to let you know that this show is not only brought to you by Better Water LLC, betterwater.com for your water filtration system, but we are also officially fascism free.
Fascism free.
Yep, 100%. This show, we do not have any fascism. We've never had any fascism, and I think that we're officially we're the most fascism free show.
Based.
Did you know that?
I do now.
Fascism free.
So happy.
We're fascism free.
It's a problem that's been reoccurring for too long.
My neighbor Wallace said, "You almost made me wreck the work truck." I didn't do it, Wallace. I didn't do it. It was the enlightened protesters.
Fascism free.
Who didn't proofread their speech that they were given by some Soros operative before they started protesting Donald Trump making D.C. safer.
Yeah, learn how to say the words, please.
Words are hard.
Fascism free.
I mean, hey, we know that best here.
Fascism free.
The rest of the show, we could just do this.
Fascism free.
Oh, for sure.
She said more. She had more to say.
Oh, did she?
So they organized a protest outside D.C. It's totally organic. Totally organic and grassroots. I just guarantee none of this was planned by shadowy figures in the dark. This is the grassroots will of the people demanding access to carjackings and murders in their city. And this woman gets up to a podium and she says proudly that they need to make this city
fascism free.
Fascism free. Fascism?
Fascism.
Fascism.
It's like she's coming up with a different syllable.
Fascism free.
Or a new consonant.
The C's silent, right?
It's something.
It would have been better if she said fascism.
It's almost like it's an SCTH all in one.
Fascism free.
At least she didn't say fascism.
Yeah.
Fascism free.
Fascism.
She's saying both of the S sounds separately. Fascism.
Fascism.
Fascism free.
So good.
It's almost like Daffy Duck. It's very close to Daffy Duck.
Fascism free.
Suffer and succotash.
You're despicable. Fascism free.
That's pretty much there. That's pretty much there. I have a feeling that she mispronounced more words. Should we keep listening to the protest outside D.C.? Let's listen. Let's listen in to the protesters who are demanding more murders, more carjackings, and less police involvement in D.C. Shall we? Let's do it.
Free is not a roadmap to safety. It is a burial.
Free is not a roadmap to safety. It is a burial. We only made it 1.5 seconds before I had to pause it again.
Yeah, rewind that for me. What?
And that is fascism free. Free is not a roadmap to safety. It is a burial. It fails hardest on the black communities that already we bear a disproportionate share of surveillance, stops, and forces.
Surveillance?
She's saying civilians or surveillance?
I thought she was trying to say surveillance. Do you think she was trying to say civilians?
You're probably right, but I can't tell.
Why didn't they pick somebody that could read?
Fails hardest on the black communities that already we bear a disproportionate share of surveillance, stops, and forces.
Yeah, I think it's surveillance.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yikes. Yikes. At least we're fascism free.
I want to be clear. We've been here before.
Okay. All right. All right. You're going to have to work on that. I want to be clear. You're missing the mark. You're missing the mark.
This is a long history. Well before today, the black communities bearing the brunt of aggressive policing. Data and reports from many credible organizations show patterns. Black people are more likely to be stopped, searched, questioned, arrested, and harmed in encounters with the law. When we add the presence of federal agents or the National Guard to daily life in these neighborhoods, the burden can multiply. Not by making harm more rare, but making it more visible and more likely to escalate.
So the right thing to do is not have any police in these neighborhoods? Is that what you're saying? Like, wouldn't that hurt the black community in those neighborhoods? When we had John Rose on, he told us that in Memphis, like, they tracked the crime down to 600 individuals. 600. And it's the no cash bail. It's back out on the streets, doing whatever they want to do. I'm sure you could do the exact same thing in D.C. And don't you owe something to the kids in D.C. that are growing up? Don't you want them to grow up in an area that is free of crime? I understand you want it to be fascism free, but don't you think that these kids deserve a neighborhood where mom can take them to school and not worry about being carjacked at the stoplight? I think so. I think that's what they need. I think that would lead them to a more successful adult life. No? No.
So be clear, this has been going on. But as you bring more policemen, it's going to escalate.
You bring more policemen, it's going to escalate.
Goodness. Goodness.
It's crazy to me. This is crazy.
Black Washingtonians have long recognized that community violence cannot be solved through state violence.
Community violence, exactly. Community violence. That's the root of the issue here. Community violence.
And have asked for meaningful investments and solutions that are proven to work. Racist over-policing goes beyond D.C.
What has been proven to work? Because I don't see it in these cities. I just don't. I'm sorry. If you had stuff that's been proven to work in Chicago, L.A., Detroit, Philadelphia, Memphis, D.C., Do I need to keep going? If you have stuff that's been proven to work, why don't we see it in practice in any of these big blue cities? You don't. You just don't. So Donald Trump is saying, enough. We're federalizing the police. The police have had their hands tied by leftist politicians not being able to do their job. Therefore, criminals feel emboldened, and they're allowed to do whatever the hell they want in these big blue cities. And if they get caught, they're back out on the street in the afternoon. It's insane. And she's saying, no. Leave it the way it is. Why? Because Orange Man bad? Honestly, it's insane.
As the roots of American policing in many regions, like enslaved patrols. Police have been enslaving and murdering black people with freedom for punishment for centuries. I stand in front of you today with a signal to the residents of D.C. and the country that we will not be idle as oppressive structures try to harm our communities and take power.
They're not trying to harm. They're trying to liberate the community from the violence and the gang members and the carjackings and the murders. You had a 3-year-old girl catch a stray bullet on a 4th of July holiday and die. But leave it as it is. Please, please. Leave it the way it is.
The fight for black liberation and the liberation of all people will not stop no matter our oppression, intimidation, manipulation tactics.
The only thing oppressing these communities currently are these communities. It's the heartbreaking reality, and I'm sure I'll get called names for saying it, but that's what's oppressing these communities currently. We tried it your way for 4 years under Joe Biden in the aftermath of the Summer of Love. Billions poured in, corporate donations, Black Lives Matter. No schools built, no playgrounds erected, cities demolished, cities haven't recovered, and you want to keep doing it that way. Got it. Frank on the road wants to talk about Trump and his moves in D.C. What's up, Frank? Thanks for holding, man.
Hey, good morning. You didn't really have to put me on the air. Your show just kind of prompted me to want to talk. I was just telling your person there at the network, at the station, whenever in 1976, my father and I went to D.C. because I had 2 first cousins that lived there, and one of them was getting married, so we were going there for her wedding. Well, my father made our arrangements for us, and he had us staying at a Holiday Inn. We were 3 blocks from the White House, just 3 blocks. This has been almost 50 years ago. And when my cousin that was getting married heard where we were staying, she's like, "No, you're not staying there. Because you're coming to stay with me." She said, "That place, you'll get mugged." And so it's been a bad area, or there have been really bad areas of D.C. for 50 years that I knew about. So anyway,
you're absolutely right, Frank. You're absolutely right, man, and I appreciate the call. It's like the definition of insanity is trying the same thing, doing it over and over again and expecting different results. Donald Trump is looking at the state of D.C. and he goes, we're not going to continue the failed policies of the left. And we're not going to allow these radical leftist lunatics to continue to drive this city into the ground. I like it. Let's go to Rusty in Chapel Hill. What's up, Rusty?
Chris, I believe I have your the translation for your new phrase there. I can't even begin to pronounce it the way she did. But I believe she is trying to use the word that is the left's favorite new word, but you and I would pronounce it fascism.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's yeah. She missed the mark just a little bit.
Fascism free.
Hey, fun fact. My guy that just called in before, who was talking about the hotel. Oh, you can't stay there. That's where the wife and kids stayed while they were in D.C.
Oh.
Jay in Tullahoma. What's up, Jay?
Yes, sir. Hey, I appreciate your show.
Thanks,
but
man.
I was in D.C. about 20 years ago, me and my wife, and we were traveling looking for the Arboretum, and we got lost. And so I said, well, let's go over here. And we got into sort of community or neighborhood. And I seen a guy with a Marine tag on his vehicle. And I said, let me ask him where we at. I pulled up to him and said, sir, we're lost. Where can we go? Where's the Arboretum? He says, sir, you're in enemy territory. You need to get out of here right now. Follow me. I'll get you out.
Jeez.
And we followed him and got us out of there.
Wow. That's insane, Jay. I appreciate the call, man. At least at the time, though, it was
fascism free.
You know, things are changing. Things are changing quickly. Brian in Cookville. What's up, Brian?
Man, I'm driving a U-Haul truck, and I almost had to pull over to take a leak. I mean, you guys are killing me. I grew up in the hood, and I need to ask you a question because I've been going to ask this forever. Did you used to be a hip-hop DJ?
Yeah, I did.
I thought you were.
Yep.
So you're
For
not willing
years.
to help if you're not willing to help the community, then there's something wrong with you. And she's manipulation and fascination and fascism.
Fascism free.
How do you stand or sit in front of somebody like that and not be able to almost pee your pants?
Honestly.
Because it sounded like she had something in her mouth she couldn't get out, but it was fighting her. And she was letting it win, bro. I mean, like I said, I grew up in the hood, so it's always a beautiful day. And could I borrow a pencil? All that slang grew up with me, and I can't get it out of my head. And when I heard her, I thought, I think I know her.
Fascism free.
You're killing all of us, but keep doing it.
All right, man.
bro.
I appreciate it, Brian. I appreciate it. 615-737-9986. If you want to join the radio show or the television side of things, just to remind you, the show is now
fascism free.
We've made the appropriate changes. We had a little bit too much fascism going on, and we've dialed it back. Yeah, this woman. I mean, she didn't proofread her speech. She didn't proofread her speech. If you want to hear this protest in its entirety, I've just retweeted it on my X account at Chris Hand on Air. If you want to share it with a friend, it's insane. It's insane. Let's yell. Let's scream. Donald Trump wants to make this city safer. You know what that means? He's an orange fascist.
Fascism free.
We need to keep the city fascism free. Who's going to put it on a T-shirt first?
Suffering succotash.
Who's putting it on a T-shirt first? That's what I want to know, boys.
You could sell the T-shirts at the end of the B&A hole where your stand is.
Yes, perfect.
Well, we got to figure out how to spell it, too.
Yeah,
True.
we do.
Fascism free.
All right, we got a lot more on the way, plus the lightning round. Man, I didn't get to anything I wanted to get to today.
It's
Like
the opposite of what the lightning round is.
I'll tell you what. I had 8 pages of show prep that I did last night. I've used 1/4 of one page. That's it. So we got a lot to cover. I got some audio from J.D. Vance on the way. J.D. Vance did a stellar interview with Maria Bartiromo over the weekend. I'll bring you that next. It's 11:21. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN. What's a story that the American people are missing, the mainstream media is not covering, that deserves a little bit more attention?
I think the biggest story is President Trump signing into law the VA Home Loan Program Reform Act.
Amen.
That is now law. That is awesome. That is essentially protecting veterans from their homes foreclosing.
61,000 American veterans are in danger of losing their homes, as you know. But thanks to this bill, the Department of Veterans Affairs will be empowered to pay loan holders the necessary amount to prevent foreclosures on our veterans, so our veterans won't be foreclosed and put out onto the streets.
That's now law, and I think that's something that everyone should both sides of the aisle can come together and celebrate.
What's a story that the American people are missing, the mainstream media is not covering, that deserves a little bit more attention?
I think the biggest story is President Trump signing into law the VA Home Loan Program Reform Act.
Amen.
That is now law. That is awesome. That is essentially protecting veterans from their homes foreclosing.
61,000 American veterans are in danger of losing their homes, as you know. But thanks to this bill, the Department of Veterans Affairs will be empowered to pay loan holders the necessary amount to prevent foreclosures on our veterans, so our veterans won't be foreclosed and put out onto the streets.
That's now law, and I think that's something that everyone should both sides of the aisle can come together and celebrate.
What's a story that the American people are missing, the mainstream media is not covering, that deserves a little bit more attention?
I think the biggest story is President Trump signing into law the VA Home Loan Program Reform Act.
Amen.
That is now law. That is awesome. That is essentially protecting veterans from their homes foreclosing.
61,000 American veterans are in danger of losing their homes, as you know. But thanks to this bill, the Department of Veterans Affairs will be empowered to pay loan holders the necessary amount to prevent foreclosures on our veterans, so our veterans won't be foreclosed and put out onto the streets.
That's now law, and I think that's something that everyone should both sides of the aisle can come together and celebrate.
What's a story that the American people are missing, the mainstream media is not covering, that deserves a little bit more attention?
I think the biggest story is President Trump signing into law the VA Home Loan Program Reform Act.
Amen.
That is now law. That is awesome. That is essentially protecting veterans from their homes foreclosing.
61,000 American veterans are in danger of losing their homes, as you know. But thanks to this bill, the Department of Veterans...
President Trump says there's a new sheriff in town. Details at 11:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
That's Ken Weaver in the newsroom. It's 11:25 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. We have a great sponsor of the show, Better Water LLC. If you need a water filtration system, you get it at betterwater.com. And thank those guys for keeping the show 100%
fascism free.
That's because of our great sponsors, that we don't have to worry about fascism in places like this.
Wait, is that what turns the frogs gay?
It might be.
Fascism free.
I want my frogs not gay, and
fascism free.
That's my favorite.
Better look out for that fascism.
You gotta.
Oh yeah.
Fascism for the rest of us, I guess. Jeez. Whew. I was just talking to Mason off the air. I was like, those are the best moments. The ones that, like, I had no idea. I just knew a protest was popping up. I was like, all right, let's go to it. Let's see what that sounds like. And then you get some lady that sounds like Charlie Brown's teacher, according to the YouTube chat.
Fascism free.
Yeah. Yikes. Hey, we did get some updates from J.D. Vance on the Russiagate investigation. J.D. Vance, I don't know if you heard this over the weekend. Maria Bartiromo, he's on with Maria. And J.D. says that he does expect some indictments in the Russia hoax. And I heard this and I said, oh, J.D., my body is ready. I just sign me up.
Ready to receive.
Now, here's the thing. A lot of us, we don't want to get our hopes up with the Russiagate stuff. But to have the sitting vice president say, I think you're going to see some Democrats be indicted, it's a pretty big statement, and J.D. Vance made that statement over the weekend.
Meanwhile, we're still waiting for accountability on the whole Russia collusion made-up story. Yes. Now that DNI, Tulsi Gabbard, has released all of those classified documents, we're actually seeing who was behind all of this. Do you want to see indictments?
I absolutely want to see indictments, Maria. Look, of course, you've got to have the law follow the facts here. You don't just indict people to indict people. You indict people because they broke the law. But if you look at what Tulsi and Kash Patel have revealed in the last couple of weeks, I don't know how anybody can look at that and say that there wasn't aggressive violations of the law. What they basically did is they defrauded the American people in order to take Hillary Clinton's presidential campaign talking points and turn them into intelligence by defrauding the American people, defrauding the intelligence agencies, lying about what the intel said. They would take something that supported a Hillary Clinton campaign talking point, and they would overemphasize it and exaggerate it. They took anything that actually contradicted that narrative and they buried it deep, and through that, they actually laundered Hillary Clinton's presidential campaign talking points through the American intelligence services.
Think about what he's saying there. They took Hillary Clinton campaign talking points and then filtered them through the CIA directly to the mainstream media. That's not a statement that you should overlook from the sitting vice president.
Violation of the people's trust. That's a violation of what our intelligence services should be doing, and I absolutely think they broke the law, and you're going to see a lot of people get indicted for that.
Is that so? Is that so? Again, with the sitting vice president, I actually think people broke the law, and I think you're going to see a lot of people indicted for that. Now, I get not wanting to get your hopes up, but this is the vice president of the United States.
And I absolutely think they broke the law, and you're going to see a lot of people get indicted for that.
I'm here for it. 100% here for it.
Here's the thing that should really bother the American people. What do you want our intelligence community to be doing? I want them to be catching bad guys. I want them to be making sure that terrorists aren't going to kill innocent American civilians. I don't want them laundering Hillary Clinton's campaign talking points into the American media and giving them this air of legitimacy. It is sick. And it's disgusting. It hurt the intelligence community, it hurt the American people, and it hurt the first Trump administration. We've got to have consequences for it, or we're just going to see the same play repeated again and after again.
We're going to have some consequences for it. J.D. Vance on with Maria Bartiromo over the weekend. I do think we're going to see indictments. Keep your fingers crossed. Investigations are opening up left and right. Letitia James, Adam Shifty Schiff now under investigation as well for mortgage fraud. We have grand juries being opened up. I think that this is going to heat up very, very quickly, and I do hold out hope that we see some accountability here moving forward. A lot to get to on the way. Lightning round on deck. The show will continue to be fascism-free. I guarantee it. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Fascism free.
.30 on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast in 5 minutes. And right now in our nation's capital, President Trump announcing he has put Washington, D.C.'s police department under federal control. And he's deployed the National Guard to, quote, essentially stop violent crime in Washington, D.C. He claims has been widespread and has put the city in a state of squalor, leading to his declaration of a public safety emergency.
What you need is rules and regulations, and you need the right people to implement them. And we have the right people here, that I can tell you.
Trump also suggesting a new push to eliminate no cash bail, saying it's time for his administration to crack down on violent criminals. No more DEI hires at Nashville International Airport. The Tennessean reporting a 2-decade-old program that targeted small, minority, and women-owned businesses for hiring has ended. An airport spokesperson said BNA has complied with President Trump's anti-DEI executive order so the airport could keep getting its federal funding. Now the airport says it'll use a new small business program that is described as race and gender neutral to fill airport contracts. And more than 10,000 CDC employees nationwide are being kept home from the office today following what they say was a targeted attack outside their Atlanta offices. The local community in Atlanta also shaken up by the shooting. Here's Faith Abube.
A CVS employee who helped others hide in the store speaking out.
He was just walking around the store just shooting. We were just laying there wondering
when it was going to stop.
Detailing to ABC affiliate WSB the terror they felt inside as the suspected gunman prowled the store. When it was finally over, officers telling them it was safe to come out.
Shell casings, like they didn't want us to trip on the shell casing. There was so many.
Right now in Tennessee, a man in Sevierville recently shot and killed a bear that got into his home through a screen door. The bear, a yearling male, later died. The homeowner reported it was the same bear previously entering an outbuilding on his property. Tennessee Wildlife Resources Agency, wildlife regulators, officials say that the area has ongoing issues with bears being attracted to unsecured trash, leading to incidents like car and home entries. That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
What's up? It's Chris Hand here for United Structural Systems. You know them as USS, and you know them as the best, the go-to when it comes to waterproofing and foundation issues. And you know this even if you haven't called them. I mean, you're getting that water in your crawl space. You're getting the water in your basement. You're like, it'll go away. And sure, it will. It'll dry up. But when the rain comes back, so does the waterproofing issue. And these small problems are never going to stay small forever. So if you know that USS is the best, you should pick up the phone and give them a call today. If you don't, that water in your crawl space and in your basement is going to lead to wood rot, mold, foundation issues. Don't let it go that far. Call USS. Get an expert to your house. Not a sales guy who's going to be worried about his quota. No. Get an expert who's worried about your crawl space, about your foundation, about your waterproofing. That's the key difference. Get somebody who's going to come through, create a custom solution for you, and when they leave behind a warranty that's good for life. That's the USS difference. That's why they've stayed in business for over 30 years, helping 30,000 homeowners across Middle Tennessee and Southern Kentucky, and they want to help you next. Give them a call today. If you see the signs, don't wait. 615-488-7855, 615-488-7855, or you can find them online, USSTN.com. If you didn't have the gig that you have and you're not at the White House, you're not the reporter, would you raise a family in that area?
Absolutely not.
And either they're going to straighten their act out in the terms of government and in terms of protection, or we're going to have to federalize and run it the way it's supposed to be run.
It's brutal out here. It can be really, really tough. I don't live in D.C. proper anymore because it's just gotten kind of out of control. It's gotten dirtier, it's gotten more crowded, and a lot more violence, as you just alluded to. But my first year living here, I was seeing a lot of that, and it grew very quickly. So I moved here, I would say, in 2023. By the time I moved out after a year, it got really crowded. It got really messy. I remember getting emails from my apartment complex saying that there was a shooting just across the street, and it was maybe every other weekend. And I was saying, what decision did I make to even live here? I mean, obviously close proximity to the White House, which is what I wanted.
Yeah.
But wow, what a difference a year makes under, a leadership that doesn't really care that much about crime.
If you didn't have the gig that you have and you're not at the White House, you're not the reporter, would you raise a family in that area?
Absolutely not.
And either they're going to straighten their act out in the terms of government and in terms of protection, or we're going to have to federalize and run it the way it's supposed to be run.
It's brutal out here. It can be really, really tough. I don't live in D.C. proper anymore because it's just gotten kind of out of control. It's gotten dirtier, it's gotten more crowded, and a lot more violence, as you just alluded to. But my first year living here, I was seeing a lot of that, and it grew very quickly. So I moved here.
Fascism free.
All right, I won't do it anymore. I promise.
I don't believe you.
615-737-9986. If you want to join the show, 615-737-9986. My name's Chris Hand. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Show's brought to you by Better Water LLC. Water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. I've heard, and that you'd have to call them and ask them, but I've heard that they can make your water
Fascism free.
It's up to you. It's up to you. They'll test it. They'll find out if it's in there first.
I'm here for it.
They'll test your water for free. And if it's got any in there, they'll get it out, and it'll be
Fascism free.
We're both trying to throw things.
We're both doing it. It's too much. It's too much. All right, without further ado, we got to move on. Lightning round.
It's the Lightning Round with Chris Hand.
We do it every day at this time. We get to all the stories that we couldn't get to, stories that wouldn't fill a whole segment, but stories that we want to address nonetheless. 615-737-9986. If you want to join, you can also watch us. Super Talk TV is up and running live, YouTube and Rumble. Hit like, hit subscribe. Both shows 100%
fascism free.
All day. All day.
All day long, not just for the lightning round.
Fascism free.
Love it.
All right.
YouTube chat's loving it, by
Are
the
they?
way.
Are they good?
They're like,
Good.
no, don't stop.
All right.
Keep playing it.
All right, we won't. We won't stop.
Can't
All
stop,
right.
won't stop.
First story in the lightning round. This is my favorite story. I heard CNN. I heard CNN cover this. My wife is watching Housewives. This is what we do. She watches Housewives, and I just like rage while I do show prep, or I'm like laughing while I do show prep. There's never any in between. Never any in between. But so I played this clip, and I just start chuckling. She just slowly turns and looks at me. She goes, "What did she just say?" And I looked at her, and in my deepest voice, I went, "This is CNN."
The WNBA is cracking down on dildos being thrown onto the court during games.
That's good. That's good. CNN, the worldwide leader in news. Everybody thought that we were beating a dead horse with something lime green, but we weren't. This is a big news story. Even the worldwide leader in news is covering this now. No surprise.
The WNBA is cracking down on dildos being thrown onto the court during games.
I love how she says it in her serious news voice.
It's probably something she didn't expect to say.
When we were talking about it, we never did serious news voice. No. Ken, when you did it in the news, it wasn't serious news voice. I don't even think Ken covered it in the news. Did he cover it in the news?
I don't think
Ken
so.
was like, I'm going to keep it a little bit more serious than the guys over at CNN.
The WNBA is cracking down on dildos being thrown onto the court during games. The sex toys have shown up 6 different times from Atlanta to LA, posing a risk to players.
It's ridiculous. It's dumb. It's corny. It's stupid.
Hilarious.
It's corny.
It's also dangerous. And, player safety is number one.
You'll shoot your eye out, kid.
Respecting the game, all those things. I think it's really stupid.
So what is this? Who's responsible for starting this trend? Apparently a crypto meme group, which calls them pranks. But those pranks have so far resulted in 2 arrests, and it raises the debate. Is it a sexist stunt? Is it some sort of rite of passage that every league experiences, something like this? What is going on? What is this?
It's hilarious. There's actually a manhunt in the the New York for a WNBA dildo launcher.
Oh, no.
You didn't know that?
I didn't know that.
There's a manhunt underway. Post Millennial has a headline. NYPD on manhunt for WNBA sex toy throwing suspect in Beavis and Butthead shirt. Classic. Police are looking for a man who threw a lime green sex toy during a WNBA New York Liberty home game, narrowly missing a 12-year-old girl, according to NYPD.
Oh, no.
The incident happened Tuesday at Barclays Center during the Liberty's matchup against the Dallas Wings. Security footage released by Crime Stoppers shows the suspect wearing a Beavis and Butthead t-shirt, a red and black hat, black shorts, and displaying tattoos on both arms. Okay, so if I was going to be the guy to do it, here's what I'm doing.
All right.
I'm rocking a Kamala Harris t-shirt, and I'm wearing a COVID-era mask. No one would suspect you.
No, absolutely not.
They would think you're just a WNBA fan. What?
Or paid to protest in a wrong place.
They would. So that CNN story, I'm laughing at it. And then I look down, and I'm like, holy crap, my dad commented on this. And I didn't even know. I didn't even know. So my dad commented, ironically, the dildos cost more than the tickets. I said, so me and my wife were just laughing. And I'm like, my dad's just out here throwing bombs like they're dildos at a WNBA game. So I fact-checked him. For the record. And I searched for the Neo Elite. That's the brand. 6 inches. Neo Elite. And the Hustler Hollywood store in Nashville, I didn't go in. I just Googled it.
Just Googled it.
$43 for the Neo Elite in lime green. Then I Googled the cheapest ticket for a WNBA game.
I was about to ask.
Chicago Sky. They got a game this week.
Yep.
We can get in the door for $11. So my wife's question was, did my dad fact check that first? And I said, no, he probably just figured. He probably just knew in his gut. Like,
he knew.
100% that thing's going to cost more than a ticket. And so I said, no, he just figured it. And I laughed. I said, I would have taken that bet without a Google. Would you have taken that bet without a Google?
Oh, easily. I would have taken that
100%.
bet.
Everybody would have taken that bet.
I'll make that deal. How about you bitch? You make that deal?
I'd make that deal.
I don't blame you. Damn good deal.
All right, got another story for you in the lightning round. Is SNL no longer woke?
What?
I know. Apparently, and I don't watch the show. I don't watch much TV. Like, I just don't have the bandwidth for it.
Understandable.
It's just like I just don't have the time. But I might give SNL another chance here if they keep stuff up like this. SNL did an American Eagle Sydney Sweeney jeans parody over the weekend.
Ooh.
Yeah, you want to listen to it? If you're watching on the stream, you'll see it as well on Supertalk TV, YouTube, and Rumble.
My jeans tell me I'm a man.
My jeans tell me I'm a woman.
They tell me I'm relaxed.
That I'm skinny?
A child.
Yo, you don't know me, jeans.
I'm not a style. I'm not a size.
That's not me.
Introducing Levi Robes. Sizeless, style-neutral, gender-non-conforming denim for a generation that defies labels.
What's my size? Why don't you try asking me about my accomplishments? What colors do they come in?
Colors? I'm triggered.
This color.
Can you label this color?
That is the color Greb.
They not brown, but they not brown. Let's talk pockets.
Pockets sold separately.
Yo, who says I have hands?
They come in men's and women's?
Nah.
Do they come in person?
That's why Woke's got Unifly.
180 degrees of gender nonconformity.
My jeans let me decide how I go to the bathroom. Do yours?
It's a long zipper.
180 degrees. 180.
Is that Ryan Gosling?
Yeah. That's Ryan Gosling. So I think SNL is trying to find themselves a redemption arc and get back to being funny again.
Bro, MC Hammer better watch out.
They did look like Hammer Pants.
Dude, for real.
They did look like Hammer Pants.
Pockets sold separately.
With a Unifly. 180 degrees, baby.
You don't know I got hands.
Yeah, don't judge me.
That's actually pretty good.
It's pretty good. All right, another story for you in the lightning round. All right. A UK shop owner got a visit from police. Why? Just guess. Why do you think a UK shop owner gets a visit from police?
Well, with their past track record, probably something on Facebook.
Pretty close. Pretty close. He put a note in the window.
Oh.
This UK shop owner put a note in the window, and it said, "Due to scumbags shoplifting, please ask for assistance to open cabinets. Thank you." Well, he gets a knock on the door. "Oi, mate, that sign in your windows, bloody offensive." Yes, the shopkeeper was rebuked by police for putting up a sign calling shoplifters scumbags and says that they have to take it down. It's too offensive, okay? It could cause offense, so they got to take that sign down. And he says that the officers have failed to arrest any of the thieves that he's caught this year at his store shoplifting. And so the police said, "You can't call them scumbags. That's offensive." And he said, "Screw you. I'm going to put up a bigger sign." I love it. I love it. Defiant shopkeeper who was told by police to remove a negative shoplifting sign in case it caused offense said he planned to put up an even bigger one. Police caused a free speech row when they turned up at Rob Davis's vintage store in North Wales and told him to take down a handwritten sign that referred to shoplifters as scumbags. They told him they had received a complaint about the notice, which stated, due to scumbag shoplifting, please ask for assistance to open cabinets. But Mr. Davis, who says he was driven to put it up on his shop door because of escalating shoplifting in Wrexham, told the Mail on Sunday that he had no intention of taking it down, adding, "The sign is staying, and I may even get a bigger one. It's a simple point, in my opinion, and succinctly put, and can't cause offense apart from anyone intending to steal from me." Facts. Can you imagine that? You call a shoplifter a scumbag, and you get a visit from the police because you're causing offense, sir.
Hey, you're offending criminals. You should stop that.
It's insane. This guy, he's 59 years old. So he put it up a month ago out of frustration after discovering that he was losing almost his entire monthly profit because of thieves.
Jeez.
So the guy's barely breaking even, just crossing that threshold barely. And because he put the sign up, because of his frustration, he gets a visit from police. The sign's not even that big, to be perfectly honest with you. Here, look, if you're watching on the stream, I mean, maybe the width of 4 fingers. Like it was like on like a half of an index card.
If that, yeah. Holy, that's tiny.
And he got a knock on the door from police. He said that the police said the sign was provocative and potentially offensive. Potentially offensive. When I asked why, who could it be offensive to, the officer didn't answer. The only person who could be offended by the word scumbag is a scumbag who wants to steal from me. Right?
Do you think the people that robbed him came in to rob him again, saw the note and went, "Oh, no,"
How
and
dare you?
reported it to the police?
I'm sorry, sir. I was under the impression that Wrexham was
Fascism free.
But apparently not. Apparently not. There's a lot of fascism around here.
Guess not.
It's unbelievable. So he's going to put up a bigger sign. He should. That sign was small.
Bro, cover the door.
Go big or go home.
Yeah.
Honestly. He said there's been massive support everywhere since the sign went up. He added shopkeepers are all in the same boat. Everyone is having stuff stolen, even cafes. He began locking goods in cabinets after he said police failed to deal with earlier shoplifting incidents. Well, they wouldn't want to be called mean names on the internet, would they? So
no.
They're not going to solve any crime. Now, he added, over the past year, I've caught 5 people shoplifting. After the first one, I called police. They handed the stolen shirt to me and let the shoplifter go. Now I don't bother reporting them. I almost every day I get shoplifting. He said that after putting out 30 sets of fishnet stockings, 20 were taken. 20 out of 30 were stolen. Adding, thefts have definitely gotten worse. If you're down 200 euros or 200 pounds because of shoplifting, that might be profit for the whole month. Mr. Davis said retailers in the town were facing a number of prolific shoplifters and criticized police efforts to tackle them. I paid 2 lots of rates, business and residential, and part goes to policing. I'm not getting any of the service I'm paying for.
That's wild.
Isn't that wild?
That's wild.
Again, the sign was as big as 4 fingers. It was a teeny tiny little sign. Sparked massive outrage and offense. Shoplifters everywhere. Very upset. Very upset.
It's those fascists.
It's the fascists. It's 100% the fascists. I'm sorry. I thought England was,
Fascism free.
It's not.
Nah.
11:52. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
For many of us, generators are becoming a must-have household appliance. From unpredictable weather to surprise outages, it's better to be safe than sorry. Generator Supercenter of Nashville offers fast and easy installations with 24/7 service and monitoring to all brands of generators and expert repairs done right. Our mission is to make owning a backup generator simple and easy. Visit your local store today or check us out online. Generator Supercenter of Nashville. We serve all Middle Tennessee.
11:57, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. I'm Chris Hand in studio with Chad Benson. I was trying to explain to him the protest that was going on outside of D.C., or in D.C., because outside of the Capitol because of Donald Trump's executive order where they're federalizing the police force. I couldn't do it justice, just how poorly this woman was speaking. So I want to play some of it for you. Is that all right, Chad?
Bring it to me.
All right. This is a rally against Trump administration policies.
Has been trying to provoke violence here, right here, in the black communities and in the brown communities, having ICE kidnap our neighbors, having the black community be harassed and profiled and want a response. We say, hell no, we won't go.
Now, I want to point out that she's wearing earrings where one of them is a folding chair and the other is a dinner plate.
The best do. Ooh, they were a little slow in the draw.
When we say we won't go, that means we're not going to those mass incarceration, into their prisons and enslavement. We won't go into their ICE, what do you call his beautiful centers that he got. We won't go to where alligators live.
Florida? You're not going to Florida?
I ain't going nowhere near them gators.
What was that? Wow.
Hell no, we won't go.
Hell no, we won't go. It gets better. Hell no, we won't go. Hell no, we won't go.
Today we gather to speak plainly about policy path that sounds strong, but in truth, it weakens the very safety we seek.
The safety, like, members of Congress being carjacked.
We believe there is a better way to protect us all. One that respects rights to build trust and keep our communities truly safe, and that is fascism-free.
What is it?
I'll tell you.
Fascism-free.
Fascism.
Fascism.
Fascism-free.
Instant reaction, Chad Benson.
Fascism. Man, I hate fascism. I heard that guy in Germany was a fascist.
So our instant reaction was, at least you didn't say fascism.
What? Who are? Do you think there are people standing there? What is this? Who? Why is she on stage? Who's this lady?
Fascism-free.
I know fascism-free.
Fascism.
Yeah, fascism.
F-E-S-S-I-S-M. I Googled it, and I didn't understand how racist Google was. It said, did you mean fascism?
Oh.
And I said, no.
No, fascism.
No, I meant fascism. You bigot.
Wow. That is, do you have to think somebody's in the crowd going, how did we let who said this was a good idea?
I don't think anybody was thinking at all, Chad.
No, probably not. Probably not. It's D.C., middle of the day on a Monday.
They said, you can read, right? And she goes, good as Charlie Brown's teacher.
Fascism-free.
Nailed it.
Oh, good times.
Shout out to the YouTube chat. I stole that Charlie Brown joke from that.
Oh, that's spectacular. Oh, that's good.
Will you commit to your show today being
fascism-free?
I will commit to being fascism-free.
All right, perfect. What are you going to talk about?
Fascism. How it's everywhere. I can't stop. And then where the alligators live.
Chad's in next. It's 12 o'clock. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN.